So what if we found out that everything that happens on the external world, from the war in Ukraine to the slap that Will Smith gave at the Academy Awards, has to do with you? We need to start making that reflection of how our thoughts, feelings, and our daily actions, choices make up the reality, not only in our immediate surroundings, but in our collective consciousness that are reflected in the world that we're living in. So the shifts that we want to see are not about pointing fingers and saying, he's the monster, or he's right or wrong, and taking sides and stances. It's actually the opposite of that. It's creating that equanimity inside and taking in both sides and saying, hold on, where is this reflecting what I need to change inside of me and I need to change in my daily choices? So in the case of Will Smith, if you were really worked up about what he did, look inside and ask yourself, where am I not showing and standing up for myself and showing the frustration that I feel in a constructive way? Where am I being too violent and too aggressive, where I could be creating something from the feelings that I have inside? So we start seeing the world as not something that just happens to us, but something that happens for us. And everything that happens is a reflection of what we can use as a trampoline to transform our reality at every second, every moment. Every morning you get up, you have the powerful ability to create something absolutely magical and different from what you had the day before. So if you're living this life where you're constantly complaining about your family members and he's doing this and that or not doing this and that, and I feel so dissatisfied in this relationship, and my kids are taking up all of my time and I don't have time for myself, and the government is crap and that it's not doing anything, it might be completely right. So we're not condoning anything that's happening, and we want to see shifts in the external world. But the only way that these things will actually happen is if we look inside and say, what can I shift to attract a different reality? Why am I so irritated with my mom? Maybe she's showing me something that I need to change inside of myself. What are these divisions that I'm seeing? Why am I so polarized about this? Every polarization that you feel is reflective of something that you haven't worked internally. Even when you know you're right, I'm right about this because he's so wrong. This is like despicable. It's reflective of something inside of that yet you haven't worked out. This polarity needs to be, because the world is never black and white. The world is never so divided into its composite parts. They're just reflections of rejections that we've made of ourselves. So if we're seeing too much violence in the world, that means that there's violence inside of us that we haven't allowed to come out in a creative and in a constructive way. It's sitting inside of us and it's there. We are human beings, are meant to be aggressive at some times, but the thing is that this aggression inside of us is evolutionary. We needed the aggression in order to survive, and now it's hurting us because when we feel it, we don't allow it to come out, which is good in certain ways. We don't hurt others, but at the same time what happens is that it stays inside of us and it wreaks havoc on our bodies, on our emotional health. So we need to find ways to accept and integrate that aggression or sadness or whatever the negative emotion that you're feeling, because I don't believe they're negative emotions. And you find a way to express that through a song, through creating something new, through, doing something, shifting something in your relationships, in your work. There's always a way. But you first need to take that step and say, this is not happening to me and I'm a victim of this, but this is happening for me to see something that I need to change in my world. And, I teach healthy living, self-care, and purpose, pleasure, but it goes much deeper than that. When you start honoring the very subtle things that are happening inside of you, and that's why I teach the sensefulness method, like how to connect with everything that's happening inside of us. When you connect to that at a very deep level, you become this creator of your own reality. You take ownership of everything that you feel, and you take ownership of the way that you are, and you find ways for weaving that into a reality, into some ways that make sense for you. So if you find yourself waking up every morning unhappy with where you are, you have to do something about it, because the reason we're living in this world that we're all so frustrated about is because we are not making the changes in our immediate environment. If each of us says, this is enough, I'm not taking this reality, I need to make the changes, I need to take care of myself, I need to take care of my family, I need to do work that resonates with who I am, I need to find more purpose, then all of a sudden we're working towards a reality that resonates with who we are. Because the reality now is not resonating with who we are, because we're ignoring what's happening inside of us. So it's a long journey, but it's also a very simple shift. You make that shift internally and you say, everything that's happening in the external world is happening for me to look in and change something. So next morning, you wake up tomorrow, you ask yourself, what can I do to be more aligned with what my inner desires and my inner truths are telling me? What is it that really bothers me in this external world, in my partner, in my mom, in my child? And point the fingers back at you and say, how can I transform the inner vibration to not attract that, to not be so bothered by it? Because the triggers inside of us always reflect something that we need to change. And guess what? It starts with a really tiny, small acts of self-care, acts of healthy living. All of that actually, the way that you wake up and you start doing the breathing exercises, the movement, and the moving your body and exercising, the foods that you choose to eat, all of those things, they connect you to what's happening in your inner world. That's first. And secondly, for example, when you choose to go organic and locally produced, you're not just making a choice to eat healthier for yourself, you're making a choice not to contribute to the pesticide companies and this mass production companies that are destroying our environment. You choose to support the local farmers. So everything is interconnected. When you choose to ride the bike more, you are contributing to less pollution, but you're also contributing to your health. So I really invite you to make that reflection of how everything, just everything that you do, every breath you take, is somehow reflected in your external reality and in the choices that we make. We talk about democracy and voting. To me, the greatest vote we can make is by being healthy and in alignment with our true integrity and who we are. And guess what? that's all interconnected. We can't be destroying ourselves or bodies and then saying, I want to save the world. It's completely related. Our body is part of the nature, so if we don't take care of our body, we're not taking care of our earth. That's why our earth is being decimated, because we don't know how to look inside and say, what does my body need? What does my nature need? And it's a very deep reflection, and then I hope more of you will choose to live your life from that place of not the responsibility, but the empowerment, because you have the power to change your life today, and by changing your life, you attract and seeing the changes happen in your immediate circle, in the larger circle, and then in the whole world. That's how change happens. And I invite you to join us and really make those small shifts in your day-to-day and see how you can be in more alignment with who you are. And if you need help, Bella is here to help you and guide you through it. That's what I've dedicated my life to, because that's in alignment with who I am and what I want to be an invitation for. So by taking my step in the direction of saying, this is the only way that I can envision myself living, I'm giving you the permission to say, I can do it too. And that's the power that we all have. Thanks for listening, and see you next week.